Hello and welcome to Disney Travel Tales, a podcast that allows you to immerse yourself in someone's recent Disney trip. I'm Jenny, and I'm so happy to be here with you talking about my favorite thing, Disney trips. Join us every Friday as we explore the parks or cruise ships with a new guest and learn inside tips and tricks to hopefully help make your vacation go a little smoother. Make sure to subscribe to the show wherever you are listening so you never miss a new episode, and I would love it if you left a positive review on Apple Podcast or Spotify. This is the easiest way to support the podcast. Another way to support the podcast is to use me as your travel agent at no cost to you. Email me at jenny@trolleylanetravel.com. Let me do all the hard planning while you sit back and count down the days to your vacation. Okay, so let's get going with today's show. Hello and welcome. You are listening to episode number 98, and I am here with Ariel, and she cruised on the Disney Wish and is going to tell us all about it, which I am so excited about. How are you, Ariel?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing well. Okay, so let's start off the show. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, who you traveled with, and your experience with Disney vacations?
Okay. Well, I am 31 now. Ugh, gross. On this last trip, I went with my mom. It was just a girls' trip. And I've been doing Disney vacations since I was a little kid. We're in Oregon, so we're able to go to Disneyland pretty frequently, which is cool. But this was my very first Disney cruise. I've been on other cruises, but this is my first Disney cruise.
That's awesome. What were the dates of your cruise?
It was September 11th through the 15th.
Nice. Oh, so was it like cold back in Oregon? Did you get to experience some nice warm weather?
You know, it was actually pretty hot here still.
Oh, that's funny.
Hot for Oregonian standards. I know it's like nothing compared to like Florida, Arizona. But yeah, it was, we went from like what we consider hot to like way hotter.
Yeah. That's great. Okay, so before we start, why don't you tell everyone where they can find you on Instagram? Because that's how I found you. You have a beautiful Instagram page. I just love it. It's like you've curated it perfectly.
Thank you so much. My handle is Neverland Navigation.
Yeah, so go check it out because it's really fun and beautiful, and it's got all the fun Disney feels.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So let's just start right at the very beginning. How did y'all get to your port of call?
So we flew in on Sunday into Orlando International Airport. And we stayed the night at the Hyatt inside the airport.
Oh, how was that?
That was nice. And we were thinking about going and staying at a Disney hotel the night before, but it was still kind of far from the port. And it was just going to be like kind of quick, like a quicker, cleaner kind of thing just to stay at the airport. But the Hyatt was really nice. I was pleasantly surprised. Like airport hotels are not always great, but it had a good restaurant. The rooms were modern and comfortable, very clean. I have no complaints.
That's great to know.
And then we took an Uber from MCO to Port Canaveral.
How long was that? And if you don't mind me asking, how much was that? Because people are always asking, how do you get to Port Canaveral from Orlando?
Yeah, so it was, I think, around $120.
Okay.
And it took about maybe an hour.
Oh, that's not bad.
It really wasn't. We were thinking about booking a private car, but Uber was actually quite a bit cheaper than booking a private car. So we had no problems with it. We had no problems with our driver. It was very convenient. All the Orlando, I think, based Uber and Lyft drivers are, I think, pretty familiar with Disney stuff, Disney properties. So he knew exactly where to go.
That's great. Yeah, I'm sure they do that route all the time.
Yeah.
So what was it like once you got there?
It was so fast and efficient. We got out of the car, and right there, like immediately, like a porter had practically like chased the car when he saw us and helped us get our stuff out. And you have the tags that make it like so that the porters will deliver it right to your room. So they were just like whisked away super quickly, which was convenient because we didn't have to haul all of our stuff through all the lines. And then we were concierge guests, so we were able to go through the express lines, which had nobody in them, which was really great. And it wasn't hard to find. All of the cast members, of course, were super helpful, and they were just like giving us clear directions, like, oh, yep, take 2 steps to the right, and there you'll be, you know?
That's awesome.
It was a very expedited process. It's like the anti-airport experience.
Yeah. That's so nice. I've always heard such great things about Disney Cruise and that whole like boarding process. It's usually, you know, people are like, it's easy. There's people everywhere helping you. And so, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's, I think, a huge contrast to the other cruises I've been on where you are kind of milling around and lost and there's lots of lines and there's lots of people and there's lots of stuff. It was the opposite of that.
Yeah, that's great. So y'all sailed Concierge. That is exciting. What made you choose like this option when it came to picking your room?
Well, I'm sorry, my dogs are barking.
That's okay.
You know, we wanted to kind of like treat ourselves, and it just seemed like the most fancy option that we could afford.
Yeah.
And it was super fun. And honestly, for us, it was totally worth it. But we weighed the pros and cons. We made like a pro and con list. Like, oh, do we really want to spend this extra money on this? Is it really going to be worth it? It's like, well, we don't know if we don't try. So YOLO. It was a little bit of a YOLO kind of moment.
Well, I'm excited to hear about it. So my husband like swears he's never wants to go on a cruise. And I was like, if I could get him Concierge, I think he would love a cruise.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I completely agree.
Yeah. Okay, so back to what was it like when y'all boarded the ship?
So that was also a really nice process. So when you're a concierge guest, you kind of get funneled into this like separate waiting area that's more, it's got like comfy couches and stuff like that. It's a little bit more relaxed, whereas the rest of the cruise terminal is kind of set up like an airport where you've got the bench seating or like a DMV, but like fancier. And that was nice. We hung out there, and then the concierge team came out and introduced themselves and told us what they do, and then ushered us in as groups of like 10. Groups of 10 walked us up the gangway, and then right into the grand hall. And that was really cute because somebody was there to take your name, and they kind of announce you like you're arriving at like a 14th century ball in Paris or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really, really fun.
That's fun. So what was like your first impression of the ship?
Oh, it was beautiful. Like it felt kind of familiar because I watched so many videos about it and so many reviews on YouTube. And so it felt familiar, but it's like so much bigger and sparklier in real life. And also it was empty at that point because we were kind of the first ones there. So it was like you're just in this big, beautiful, cavernous, glittery ballroom almost. And it's so just, funny. Yeah. Very princessy.
That's amazing. So does Concierge board before the other boarding groups?
Yes.
Okay. So
that's one of the unique things about Concierge is that you don't have a check-in time. You can kind of come whenever you want. And if you're not a concierge guest, you have to sign up or you have to like check in as if you were for a flight or something at a certain time, and then you get assigned a check-in time. So when you're concierge, you can kind of come whenever you want. If you want to be the first one on, just get there before 11 and you'll get that.
That's great. So when y'all first got on the ship, what did y'all do?
So we were invited to a welcome lunch at 1923. And we were on the Roy side, because there's a Walt side and a Roy side.
Okay.
And that was really fun. It was kind of like more casual. It was like long banquet seating. So you're just kind of with other people. Mm-hmm. And you had like a prefix menu to choose from, kind of like you do for the rest of the meals. But you could order as much as you want. They also had complimentary alcoholic drinks. Like I had some Prosecco, and that was really nice. The food was great. And there's also a on the menu there was a sundae, like a welcome aboard sundae. And it was so good. And I think it's only offered that day.
Oh, fun.
In that place. So I had to get it. And it was so cute. There's a little chocolate medallion on top. And the chocolate medallion was good. You know, sometimes the little candy thing on top of the dessert is like kind of stale and old.
Yeah.
That's the case here.
That's awesome. So what was what type of food was it? Did they have?
Yeah, it was American food. But like kind of more refined, I would say. So there was like a bacon wrapped asparagus. That was really good. There was this pasta with like capers in it. There was like steak, different kinds. There was sandwiches. There was a muffaletta sandwich that like gets really good reviews.
Mm-hmm.
My mom ordered that. She really liked it.
That sounds great.
Yeah, American food. It's all like, I would say it's pretty high quality.
Mm-hmm. So about how long was this lunch? Like how long were y'all in there?
I think we were only in there for like 45 minutes. It did not take long.
Yeah. And what y'all do after that?
So after that, we went into the concierge lounge for the first time. And so that's your opportunity to hammer out any details in your schedule that haven't already been dealt with, that the concierge team can help you with. And it's also, it's like kind of a free-for-all on the first day. They're just kind of pouring drinks, whatever you want. They'll make you cocktails. I had another glass of Prosecco. It was great.
Yeah, that's so fun.
Yeah, that was super fun. And so we just hung out there. We explored the kind of the private deck area, which was super, super nice. Like it looked more like a spa than it did like a ship deck. And there's plush furniture instead of just like the plain beach chairs.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like outside refrigerators that are stocked full of cooked products and Pellegrino. And it was beautiful.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. So taking a step back, one of the perks of doing concierge is you have someone that works with you to help you with your excursions and like getting cabanas at Castaway Cay and all that. So when did that process start?
That started, I think, 90 days out.
Okay.
Yeah, 90 days out, you can reach out on email to them and kind of say your preferences. And then they came back within like an hour with all of what we wanted to do.
Yeah, that's so nice. Such a great perk.
Mm-hmm.
So what y'all do after the lounge?
So after that, we had a champagne tasting.
Ooh.
And that was kind of a little extra that we booked ahead of time. We decided we wanted to do that. And that was inside Nightingale's, which is in the Grand Hall, like right off the Grand Hall. And Nightingale's is the piano bar that's like Cinderella themed. It's so pretty in there. And this was also while the sun was still up, so it was nice and bright and airy on the inside. And they had one of their experts, because they have all kinds of like luxury item ambassadors on the ship. So this was an ambassador for their champagne. So that was really fun. I learned a lot about it. We got to try 5 champagnes plus a champagne cocktail that was like a full glass. Yeah. And we met some fun people there that we kept running into for the rest of the trip, and that was really fun. I had no idea that champagne was made by accident. That's one thing I learned.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that either.
Yeah, it was like fermenting on its own in like the 14th century. And this monk, who was somehow an expert on wine, was asked like, hey, can you stop this bubbling from happening? And this guy's name was Dom Perignon, which is a name that we know pretty well.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And he was like, actually, but this is kind of awesome. So I'm going to learn how to make it more bubbly.
That's so cool.
How champagne happened. Yeah.
Oh, that's so fun. I've never heard of champagne tastings on the cruise. That would be fun.
Yeah, it was really fun. And it was very informative, very engaging. And the ambassador was very easy to talk to, and nothing felt like it was over your head. You know, sometimes you can go to those events and it's like kind of hoity-toity, and you're like, oh, maybe I don't belong here, or maybe my question is dumb. You don't feel like that at all.
That's so nice. Oh yeah, absolutely.
On the first day of a sailing on any cruise, you do the muster drill.
Oh yes.
Which is the worst. It's the worst. You have to go congregate on the deck, or like on one of those little like safety decks, and you're hemmed in with all these people. It's 1,000 degrees because it's September in, Central Florida.
Yeah.
And you're sweating and everyone else is sweating and you hate life. It's just the worst.
Yeah.
So this is another huge perk for concierge guests, is that you go to the theater and you sit in the air conditioning in a
Oh
comfy
my
seat
gosh.
for your muster drill.
That's so nice.
And you sit there for 20 minutes and then you go.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So when you had said or I guess I'm going to dub this in, but there are like 40 rooms concierge. Did it feel busy at that muster drill? Like, did you feel like all the concierge rooms had been booked?
So that was the other interesting thing is that the concierge group was separated in two. So
Okay.
one met on one side of the theater, one met on the other.
Gotcha.
And that may have been separated by like port side and starboard side.
Mm-hmm.
But it was so comfortable. It was not crowded. It was great. Like there was bottles of water. We weren't even outside. It was the best.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So what'd y'all do after that?
After that, we went to our room, which was ready quite a bit earlier than we were expecting.
Mm-hmm.
I think we got a message that it was ready by noon, but we were tied up doing other things. So we went into our room, got our luggage was already delivered, which was early. We weren't expecting it that early. So we kind of just like got unpacked and got everything kind of set up. And then we had to run to the sail away party. Because we wanted to see our room. We were dying to see it, but we also wanted to. So we were like just a hair late to the sail away party, but we saw most of it.
That's fun. So why don't you describe what the sail away party is like?
The sail away party is kind of like those cute shows that you see in front of the castle in Magic Kingdom. Something like that, but it's smaller.
Mm-hmm.
So, the Sensational Six come out and they're happy to see you and they're, yay, here we are. We're going to go on this great journey together. It's going to be so fun. And there's like a song that goes with it. There's little, like, not fireworks, but like those ribbon cannons.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, those were fun. And then they have a group of dancers that come out. And also they introduced some of the princesses. So Flynn and Rapunzel were there. Tiana and Naveen were there. Cinderella and Prince Charming were there. I think that's all who was there for the sail away party. It was very, very cute.
Yeah, that's really nice. So being concierge, did y'all have a special section to stand in or was it just a free-for-all?
That was just a free-for-all. Excuse me. That was just a free-for-all. And we were on the starboard side.
Okay.
On the deck 12, I think it was.
Uh-huh.
So it's not where like the pool is. It's like one deck up from that. So you're kind of looking down on it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're going to do that, get there earlier than we did. If you're going to watch it from an elevated position, because we couldn't quite like get up to the rail so we could see perfectly clearly.
Mm-hmm.
I would say you probably want to get there like 10 or 15 minutes before the sail away party is going to start if you really want a good view.
Yeah, that's probably a popular spot for people to stand.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's go back to your room. What was your room like?
It was so pretty. This was the first time I've ever stayed in a stateroom that had a window, or it had more than a window. It had a veranda.
Mm-hmm.
And so there was so much more light in there than I was expecting, because the interior rooms on ships are always like kind of cave-like,
Mm-hmm.
But this was the opposite. It was like light and bright and airy. And the only area that was cramped was right between the edge of the bed, like the foot of the bed and the wall.
Okay.
So you kind of had to like turn sideways and like scooch in. And I think that would be true for most people, unless you're like, Bella Hadid or something like that.
Yeah.
She probably would have plenty of room, but it was, that's the only spot that was cramped, and it really opened up after that. There's a pull-out couch. There's also those pull-down beds, like the bunk beds that pull down. And there's this really big, beautiful vanity that has lights all in the mirrors. So, and there's plenty of room for two people to get ready at the same time. And if you've got two girls, then you need all the mirror space and all of the counter space. And you have that there. There's also lots of open shelving, so you can keep all of your stuff organized and also not like crowded on top of the surfaces. Because that's never fun to have all of your stuff like strewn everywhere. I don't like that. So there's lots of storage, lots of shelves. The light up mirror was awesome. There was also a mini fridge that was stocked with like Diet Coke and Pellegrino, because they send you a questionnaire before you get there, like, what do you want your fridge stocked with?
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so that was nice. And then there was also like a cute little fruit tray.
That's really cool. Yeah, the rooms on the Wish, I mean, if you haven't seen them, you need to go look at pictures. They are beautiful.
They're super pretty. We were in a Rapunzel room.
Oh, fun. How nice. Okay, so going back, what'd y'all do after the sail away party?
After the sail away party, we went back to the concierge lounge because we wanted to hang out there more. There's great views. We were moving at that point. That was really fun. And we had such a good time at the champagne tasting that we wanted to book like any other kind of tasting because it was just such a great time. So we booked a cognac tasting for later that day, like after dinner. And there wasn't, we asked the team and they're like, okay, so there's room for one more person right now, but I'm going to call them and see what we can do. So they like invented another space so that both of us could go. Which was really, really nice.
Absolutely. I meant to ask this back when we were talking about your room. Where was your room located on the ship?
It was on the port side.
Okay.
Port side, like 4 doors down from the concierge lounge.
So is it in the middle, the front, or the back?
Middle.
Okay, perfect.
Middle.
So are all the concierge rooms on the same floor?
Yes.
Okay, nice. Fun. Okay, so skipping forward again. Sorry.
No problem.
I have all these questions in my mind. So we're just bouncing around, but it's okay. Yeah. So after the lounge, y'all hung out at the lounge. So a question about the lounge. Was it crowded or did it feel like it was really spacious?
On the first day it was crowded because everyone's, I think, excited to be there. And also they're giving out like free drinks all day long. So that was, I think, an incentive to hang out there. But it was really, really comfortable still. There's like high top chairs, high top counters. There's like seating that's kind of more loungy where there's like a couple chairs and like a coffee table in between. There's couches. There's a little area off to the side that has like a small TV with like tiny little children's seats. And it's like not playing loud or anything, but it's loud enough to hear if you're like right there.
Yeah.
So that was also nice. There wasn't a ton of kids, but there was a few, and it was cute because I could watch like Frozen over their shoulder.
Yeah.
And there's a bar, obviously, and they also have this like kind of, it's like a bakery case towards the back, and they restock that with different snacks all day long. And there's a person there, and you just ask them like, "Hey, can I have this thing, please?" And they give it to you, and it's just different types of things throughout the day. So breakfast, there's like breakfasty pastries and things. Lunch, there's little charcuterie cups and stuff like that. Dinner is something similar, but more dinnery.
So nice. Yes, I love that. How fun. And just nice to have that extra space that you like can go to and not have to worry about like everyone else from the ship being there.
Exactly. Oh, that was another motivating factor, actually. Sorry that I should have brought this up earlier. Was we booked this cruise when we were still worried about COVID. And if we were really that worried, we shouldn't have gone. But you want to do what you want to do. Yeah. And so that was one of our justifying factors, was like, oh, well, there's less people in this part of the ship, so it's less likely that we'll get anything. Yeah. And we didn't get sick, which is good. But I don't know. That was like an extra little kind of made up reason. I think to book concierge. That's
great justification in my eyes.
Thank you.
Okay, so what y'all do after y'all hung out at the lounge?
So we collected a drink, and I think we both got red wine, and we took that to dinner at 1923. So we had lunch there, and then we had dinner there on the same night, but it was on the opposite side of the restaurant. And it's beautiful in there. Like it's cozy, but sleek at the same time. It feels vintage, but like nouveau it doesn't feel stuffy and cramped, And we were taken to a table, and it was going to be our table for the rest of the time. So every restaurant has the table numbers, and you just go to that same table number each time. And it was right in front of a window.
That's awesome.
And we were by ourselves. So that's another benefit of concierge. If you don't want to mingle that much with other people, if you're in a group that's less than 5 or 6, I think you get paired with other with other diners.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're concierge, you get a private table.
Oh, that's so nice. I didn't know that.
So that was really great. And I think that you got like premium seating too. So that's why we had like a private window that we could look out, watch the sunset. It was delightful. And then you can take your drink from the concierge lounge with you to dinner. So you don't have to buy a glass of wine if you don't want to.
Oh, that's nice.
Mm-hmm.
So what was the food like?
The food, again, was great. And this time there was more options because it's dinner. And so I had a filet mignon, which was really good. I was very pleasantly surprised because you never know how steak is going to be in different places.
Yeah.
And my mom had the pork. She liked that too. Everything was just well balanced, well seasoned. The steak was like just the right amount of done and not done. I prefer like a more rare steak, so they did a really, really good job. And we were also introduced to our wait staff. So we had a server and we had another one who was in charge of drinks. So if we needed to order soda or glass of wine or have our water refilled or whatever, then she was in charge of that. That's
great. So it sounds like dinner was really nice.
It was really nice. I wore a silly outfit. I thought it'd be fun because it's 1923. Mm-hmm. So I was thinking 20s. And so I got this silly dress and I wore a silly hat and I felt really silly.
I think that's really fun. And that's one of the fun things about a Disney cruise is because you can do that. Whereas another cruise line, they might look at you different, but I bet people probably liked it.
People did like it. It was nice. And it's also like the first day. So I think you're kind of like dipping your toe in and feeling like you're kind of still like a little bit disengaging from the real world. So you feel a little bit self-conscious for a minute, but that dissipated pretty quickly. But yeah, all of the food was really excellent. And you can order as much as you want. So we ordered an appetizer each. I ordered, I think, 2 entrees because I wanted to try this other pasta thing, which was also really, really good. And dinner was a cake thing. It was all excellent. Everything that we tried there was really good.
That's awesome. So what did y'all do after dinner?
After dinner was the show. Oh, yeah. And so that's another cool thing about Concierge is that you can go into the theater early and pick out your seat. And you have to meet in a specific place. And on our first try, we got confused, but we were supposed to go. We were on the wrong floor, missed it. But that's okay because we were still able to get in pretty early. Mm-hmm. And the show was really cute. It's like very much like a welcome to the Wish kind of show. Mm-hmm. And the cruise director came out, introduced herself. And on other cruises I've been on, they just like talk forever. They talk forever. They kind of like are this hype, kind of like hype mentality, but it feels false. Mm-hmm. It feels like very much like you're trying really hard to smile. Yeah. But this was not like that. This was short, sweet, to the point, enthusiastic for sure, but didn't have that. It didn't ring false as it has in previous experiences. The show was super cute, and we have the Sensational Six, and Minnie is the captain, and she's steering away on a little steering wheel. And Goofy tells her that he's always wanted to be a great sea captain. And she says, "Oh, I have something that I need to go do. Will you please take the wheel?" And he's not sure. He's not confident. Maybe he'll ruin it. Minnie assures him, "No, follow your heart. You'll know where to go." And you go on this journey through some Disney stories.
Oh, fun.
Mm-hmm. It's musical. It's very cute. My favorite section of it was the Tiana section, because you go to her restaurant, which is actually now open for real at Disneyland. And she's there, and she's, talking about how she reached her dream by working hard, and she's going to keep dreaming. And Goofy's like, "Well, you did it, though. You're here. What more is there to do?" And she's like, "There's always more things to do." It's very, very sweet.
Oh, I love that. I love Tiana.
Mm-hmm. Very, very cute. And then there was, other characters would come in and sing a little bit, kind of like off to the side, crossing over. It's like a musical where kind of some people are singing over each other, but it works. Mm-hmm. It's supposed to be like that. And it was like that. And the whole climax was where he's sailing back. You know, he's like, okay, so I know where I want to go and what I want to do. And then Hercules comes out and sings "I Can Go the Distance." And it finishes with Goofy singing "I Can Go the Distance" in his Goofy voice.
Aww.
It was cute. It was hilarious and cute and sweet. It was very fun.
Oh, I want to go see that.
Mm-hmm. It was very cute. It was a very good, like, warm-up. Way to, like, get the show started. Get the cruise started.
Yeah, how fun. So what was up next?
After that was the cognac tasting.
Yay.
So we had so much to drink that day, but we were spacing it out and we shared a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't want to sound like totally like I'm a lush, because I'm not.
Well, you're on vacation. I mean, it's true. Vacation. It's different than everyday life.
Yeah. And we ate and we drank a lot of water. So, but we went to this cognac tasting, and that was also really cool. This was our first time stepping into Marceline Market. It was held in a corner of Marceline Market, and they closed this really cool, like, steel door, so you feel like you're in a bank vault, and so that no one can come in and bother you.
That's cool.
And so we had a separate ambassador to talk to us about cognac, and that was really cool because I've never tried it before. I thought it was Italian. It's not. It's from France, of course. Everything's from France. And we learned about how it's made. So it comes from wine, and then it is distilled. So usually you want to keep wine, once it's done, you want to keep it at least room temperature, if not chilled a little bit. So when you're making cognac, you do the opposite. You boil it.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. And it's kind of like drinking any kind. It's kind of like drinking like a whiskey or a bourbon or something like that. I think it's in the brandy family. And so there's like lots of flavors that you can get. Some go down smoother than others. That was another thing that we learned, because he was showing us different qualities, different brands, different flavor profiles. And it was a lot of fun. There was some great people in that tasting.
Yeah, that would be fun. Just a great way to meet other adults on the cruise. Yeah, that sounds fun.
Yeah. It was great.
Did you like the cognac?
I did like the cognac. And there was a good one that was made by Hennessy that's only for cruises, and that one was like surprisingly good. Interesting. And we also tried Remy Martin, but it was like, I think it was their flagship, so it's not like a special vintage. It's not a like a reserve or anything like that. Yeah. But that was really good too, and I felt fancy drinking Remy Martin.
That's fun. So what was up next?
After that was bed. Yeah. It had been a long day of all kinds of fun stuff. We felt like we'd just been running from thing to thing to thing, because we kind of had. It was an action-packed day, and, you know, we wanted to not, like, sleep in a ton on this trip, because we wanted to enjoy everything that it had to offer. And it's only 4 days, or 4 nights. So, you know, you gotta get the sleep while you can. Absolutely. And it was great. Super comfortable bed. Way more comfortable than the one I have at home. And I don't get seasick. And you kind of have the sensation of being like rocked to bed, because the ship's going to and fro over the waves. So I just like was dead to the world. And it was so wonderful. Nice. That sounds wonderful.
So what was your next day like?
So the next day was our port of call was Nassau. And so I've been to Nassau before, and we weren't super keen to get off. I'm not a huge beach person, as odd as it is to go on like a Caribbean cruise. I'm not a huge beach person, so I wasn't motivated to go and like lay on the beach. I'm also terrified of skin cancer, so there's that. So we decided to just kind of hang out on the ship that day, because we still wanted to like get our bearings. We wanted to experience all the stuff. We woke up probably around 7, and we went to breakfast at the lounge, which is, like I said earlier, it's like 4 doors down from our room, and you get in with your Magic Band or your Key to the World card. So you scan that, you go in. And in addition to the bakery case they have full of like little snacky things, there's also like a menu, like a food menu
Oh,
that you could order
nice.
from. And so I got Mickey waffles, and they were hot and fresh and good, and I was very excited to have them.
Yes, they're the best.
There's also an espresso machine in there too, so you don't have to. If you're a coffee person, you don't have to spend the extra money at one of their cafes to get something. I still planned to. I ended up not needing to because I wanted to try everything. But
Yeah.
the espresso machine was so good. I was just kind of happy to do that. And there's real plates, real silverware, real like porcelain cups, tiny little cups for like espresso shots. Like it's very well outfitted, and we got a seat right by the window, so you could see the whole big beautiful ocean. It was like $1 million view. It was great.
That just sounds magical.
It was.
Yeah.
And the rest of the morning, we parked ourselves on one of the comfy couches on the outer deck of the lounge and in the shade, which is great.
Yeah.
And like I said earlier, there's that fridge full of drinks, and there's also like complimentary sunblock too.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so that was one of the things we were concerned about, is bringing sunblock on, because we have to travel from Oregon. Like, do we pack sunblock with us? We need a lot because we're going to be here for a while. We went to Disney World after we got off the Wish, so like long term, but it was really great to just have something there.
Mm-hmm.
And that was really convenient. We just like read books and had a smoothie, because there's a smoothie stand right there that you can have smoothies from. And it was absolutely lovely. One of the concierge team did come and ask us, like, hey, you guys going to get off today? And we're like, nah, we've been here before. And he's like, have you been since the dock was redone? And we hadn't.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was done like 2 years ago, I think. He's like, it's a lot different. You might go check it out. So we did. You don't need a tender or anything. You just walk off the plank.
You walk off the plank.
And it's different. Like, I remember it being like kind of grungy and grody and like a little bit unsafe before.
Mm-hmm.
But this area that is like this dock is really nice. There's like cute little stores, and it's all filled with like local vendors and stuff. There's bathrooms, there's food, there's coffee, and it's quite nice. It's kind of like a tropical version of Disney Springs, but much smaller.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. But it was a quick, like, half an hour little walk around. When we got back onto the boat, we wanted to try the Aqua Mouse. And the Aqua Mouse was struggling that day. I think it was actually struggling for the entire trip. And I've heard that the slides go down pretty frequently.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, I don't know if it's true on all of the Disney ships, and I'm not sure how the slides are on the other ones, but on the Aqua Mouse, there's this part where you need to be like propelled upwards.
Mm-hmm.
And without the rushing water, you can't. You can't like go over this hill, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that we're having a problem with the rushing water part of it. So it was very much like waiting for Splash Mountain, because you've got the line like roping around and stuff, and you kind of make friends with the people in line.
Yeah,
it breaks down, and the whole crowd's like, "Aw!" And then you hear it move, and we're like, "Yay!"
Yeah, it's just like being at a park.
It was cute. It was cute, and then it was pretty hot, so somebody was coming around with like chilled towels.
Oh, that's nice.
So you could cool off. That was really nice. I would recommend for anyone who's going on a cruise or any kind of tropical like vacation to bring water socks, because you don't have to, that like whatever surface you're standing on can get really hot.
Mm-hmm.
So the water socks were very like comfortable, and it kept the bottoms of my feet from not burning.
Mm-hmm.
It was nice.
For sure.
But the Aqua Mouse was super fun. There's animation inside the slide. I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
And there's 2 storylines. So you kind of follow Mickey and Minnie through whatever they're doing, and the screens kind of interact with you. So whatever happens in the screen, like there's one where they go past like a fire hydrant or something and water sprays on them. So when you get just past the screen, water will spray on you.
That's cute.
Like little stuff like that. And it was fast. It was fast. You get in like a little tubey thing. It was very fun.
Mm-hmm. Is it a 1-person or a 2-seater?
2-seater, but you can go as 1 person.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds fun.
Mm-hmm. It was.
So did you notice on this day, would you say most of the people got off the ship?
I would say that most people got off the ship.
Okay.
The main deck was not empty, but it wasn't crowded either.
Mm-hmm.
There was definitely like people lounging and having a good time. There's Disney movies playing on Funimation all day. And then there's music playing throughout the rest of the ship. And I was amazed because it's kind of like in Disney parks where you go from one area to another seamlessly and the sounds don't overlap.
Yeah, that's nice.
So you leave Main Street in, Disneyland and you're hearing all these like turn of the century, like barbershop kind of music. And then you go into Frontierland and suddenly it's all like guitar.
Yeah.
And like Western sounding, and there's no like bleeding of one sound into the next. It was like that on the ship. So
I don't know how they do that, but it is amazing.
I don't know either. It's amazing. So like, I don't know what movie it was playing, but I think it was maybe Pocahontas was playing on Funimation, and then you walk like 2 steps to the left off of that main area into like the covered area right next to it where there's tables and stuff, and all of a sudden Four Town is playing. And you don't hear the movie anymore. I don't know. It was genius. It was very fun.
That's really cool. Yeah, I love Disney music. It's just one of my favorites. It's so fun.
Engineering is obviously top tier.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So what was next?
So what was next was we took showers, got ready for dinner, and we went to Worlds of Marvel. And again, we went and got a drink from the lounge, took it with us. Worlds of Marvel was really fun. I think that if you're not a Marvel fan, it's probably not that exciting.
Mm-hmm.
The food was fine. It was also like the most variety on the menu.
Mm-hmm.
There was like steak and there was spicy ramen. It was kind of like a smorgasbord. And I think that was kind of the point, because it's different characters and their favorite dishes. So you have like some Wakandan dishes. You have like a recipe from Scott Lang, different things like that.
Yep.
And again, we had our own screen, being just the 2 of us. So that was great because we didn't have to look over anybody to see anything.
Yeah.
But there's a cute storyline. You're invited into, basically you're in a lab and Ant-Man and Wasp are going to give you a demonstration of their shrinky-dink technology. And it's in 3 parts. So there's like the introduction part, and you click this little thing on your table to help. And then in the next part, you realize, oh no, he shrunk the whole ship. We're all the size of a little ducky, a little rubber ducky in the ocean. And then the 3rd act was really fun because that's where they bring in a lot of extra characters. So Spider-Man is there, Miss Marvel is there, Sam, my gosh, what's his name? Captain America, the new Captain America.
Okay, yeah.
Sam Wilson is there. It's very cute. And at the very end, I think usually I've seen in other videos that Ant-Man and Wasp walk around the dining room in person.
Mm-hmm.
But this time, it was Spider-Man.
Oh,
for us.
Fun.
And that was really fun.
Yeah.
If you go to this restaurant, get the schnitzel.
Gotcha.
The schnitzel was great. I really liked it. Everything else that we ordered was like just okay.
Okay.
Yeah. And it was actually what our server had recommended. He was like, my personal recommendation is the schnitzel. And I listened to him, and I'm glad that I did because it was very good.
Nice. I love that you can order multiple main dishes. Like, that's so nice.
They also had like a, what's that called? That potato pasta? Gnocchi.
Gnocchi, yeah.
They had a gnocchi on the menu too, and I ordered that also as an entree. And it was, It was not anything special, and it was kind of, I took a few bites of it, and I wasn't into it.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that, like, definitely listen to your waiter. They know what they're talking about.
Yep, that's great advice.
And after that was concluded, we did find out the right place to go to get into the theater early.
Uh-huh.
So we did that, got into the theater early, picked our spot, and it was a Little Mermaid show. It was very cute. And the girl that was playing Ariel was the same girl that was Tiana the night before.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, you could tell if you were close enough to see her. She did a great job. It's kind of an adaptation of the new movie and the old one. So it's kind of like met in the middle.
Yeah, that's
some
nice.
of the plot points that were brought up. Also, the girl that was Ursula was incredible. It was a very, very fun show. They did a lot of creative things too for the stage. So like the swimming part, when they were swimming, they were like up in like cables and stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
And like going above the stage and things. It was very clever.
That's fun. So like, how long are the shows?
They're like an hour.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's like a good amount of time, especially for even a kid to sit through.
Yeah, I think so too. And you can also get popcorn on your way in if you want. We were always too full from dinner to get popcorn. We had the early seating for dinner, and we had the early show because we wanted to be able to go and like do other stuff.
Yeah, for sure. That's nice.
Yeah, but the show was great, and I'd been hearing like, oh, the Little Mermaid show was like the least good one. I'm like, what are you talking about? This is great. This is wonderful.
Yeah. Oh, people are just so nitpicky about stuff. Which show did you like better, when you saw the first night or the Little Mermaid?
They were so different. I think that I liked the Little Mermaid a little bit better because it's more traditional, like, play. It's more like a traditional musical, whereas the one prior was more like a variety show. It was like one of those really cute castle shows, but much longer.
Yeah.
And much more fleshed out. Whereas the Little Mermaid was like a proper Broadway production.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Sounds good. So what y'all do after the show?
After the show, we went to Hyperspace Lounge.
Fun.
Yes. We were very excited to try that. And it's smaller than you think it's going to be. It looks bigger on screen when you like watch reviews of it online. It's kind of like Oga's, but much smaller.
Okay.
And there is some cool details. I would say that the details are a little more minimal, which I guess that makes sense. You're supposed to be on a Star Cruiser, right?
Yeah.
So, you're not in like a forbidden tavern kind of thing like you are when you're in Oga's. But there's a cool like screen behind the bar, which is supposed to be your window out into space.
Oh, neat.
And every 10 minutes you go to hyperspeed or light speed, and then it changes. The galaxy outside changes.
Oh, that's neat.
So that was pretty cool. The drinks were good. I ordered the one that comes with the smoke bubble on top. So the presentation is fantastic. The drink was really, really good too. But it felt like the whole thing was kind of a little bit lackluster. I enjoyed myself for sure, but I don't think I would necessarily go back again if it was just a girls' trip again. My husband would want to go, and I know that I'd like to see him do it.
Yeah.
But for myself, I think I could skip it next time.
It also seems strange to me, and I could be wrong, but it feels like it doesn't fit on the ship. Like, I don't know, the whole, like, Star Wars thing, it just, I don't know.
I also think that Marvel doesn't totally go either.
Yeah.
But
well, it seems like they would do either Star Wars or Marvel. That might have made more sense. Like to have a Star Wars meal and then the Star Wars style bar. Yeah. It's just so much different stuff. I think it's also like appealing to a larger audience. That's like true. Definitely the Star Wars bar. It becomes an adult only space, I think, at 8:00. So I think it's definitely like for the dads who don't want to be there. True, or for the husbands that didn't want to come or something like that. It's like, let's give them something to do and make them happy. Yeah. That's true. You're right. So what did y'all do after the bar?
After that, we went to Tiana's Bayou, and that is a very, very pretty bar. It's past the Grand Hall, and it's in with all the shopping. And online, when you look at videos, it looks like a separate room, but it's not. It's like in between the two walkways for the shops. So it's open air. So if you're walking around, you can hear the music, you can see the people. There was some great music playing, very talented musicians and singers. And it's kind of like your classic, there's no like specialty drinks there. I would say there's like the Hurricane, they have beer, they have like a Long Island, they have old fashions, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And the drinks were perfectly lovely, but what really it was the decor. That was like the thing for me. It was so pretty. That was all this wisteria on the ceiling and
nice.
Gold details and plush, like dark green velvet chairs.
Mm-hmm.
It was it managed to feel cozy and intimate, even though you're in like kind of a hallway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And there's these cool little tables that are like a little bit elevated on each side of the bar. So it's at the back. And it's like a little nook. You're in this like little tiny conservatory type thing with all of this heavy wisteria. Oh, it's just beautiful.
That sounds fun. So is this an adults only space?
No, it's not. So there, you can bring your family in there.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I was wondering because you said it was like a walkway. I'm like, how would they control that? That would be hard.
Yeah. And I think they open earlier in the day. You can go in the morning and get mimosas.
Ooh, nice.
Which we didn't get to doing that. We planned to.
Mm-hmm.
But we did go to Tiana's more than once because I like hanging out there.
Yeah, that sounds really nice. I love it. When was the last time you visited a Disney park? For many adults, it's been a really long time. I would love to help you fix that situation. As a travel agent specializing in Disney, my job is to make sure your vacation can go as seamless as possible. All of my services are complimentary to my clients. Yes, you heard that right. I'm free to you. These services include helping you from the start finding the perfect resort to fit your needs, handling all the bookings and reservations, helping to teach you about the parks because if it's been a while, man, have they changed. I have insider tips and tricks I share with all of my clients, and I will be your single point of contact throughout your entire trip, even while you are there. Don't wait another year to visit a Disney park or go on a Disney cruise. Let this be the year you finally go. Email me at jenny@trolleylanetravel.com to get the conversation started, or see the link in the show notes to fill out my quote form. All listeners that book a trip with me will receive a $20 gift card to use on their trip. Just make sure you say you heard this on the podcast. Okay, now back to the show. So what was next?
Next was bed.
Yeah.
So same thing, great sleep. And we also had an announcement from the captain that we were entering particularly rough seas. So to be, nothing wrong, but here's how it is. And again, just like, it was like being rocked to sleep, but even more. And again, like completely dead to the world until the morning.
Yeah, that's so nice. So what was your next day?
The next day was our Castaway Key day. And I wanted to get good pictures of this whole trip. But the best time to take pictures is really early in the morning before anyone's up. So I got up super, super early and went back to Tiana's Bayou because it's open. And I was able to take pictures in there without anybody in there.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. That was
very
fun.
smart.
Also, the deck is completely open and I watched the sunrise. That was really pretty. It's really nice walking around and seeing the ship empty.
Mm-hmm.
Then we went to breakfast at the lounge. And I ordered, there was like this little breakfast sandwich. It's really cute. It's like the little pointed toast square things. But it has like a little tiny bit of egg and like a little tiny piece of bacon. And it was really good. It was really, really good, but it was like a little baby portion.
Yeah.
Which I prefer a lighter amount of food for breakfast. So after breakfast, we got like right off to go to Castaway. And again, you can just walk off. You don't need to take a little boat, which they'll take forever. Those take absolutely forever. And so we didn't have to do that. And it was beautiful. It's very well manicured, very well maintained. I've gone on a couple other like cruise private islands, and they're not nearly as clean and comfortable as this one is. Mm-hmm. When you walk along, you go to the family beach first. That's just kind of where you end up. And we wanted to snorkel. And we pre-arranged to get the floaties and the flippers and stuff like that, snorkel gear. And we were so dumb. we went into the ocean to swim around and see this stuff, the cute stuff that's been sunken. And we're like swimming along, like, I don't see anything out here. Are we in the right place? I don't know. So we swam like up and down to the roped off area like 3 times looking for things. Couldn't find it. And then we went and talked to a cast member. I'm like, we're looking for the cute statues. Where are they? And she's like, oh, you've been going the wrong way. They're over here, this other direction. Follow the buoys. I'm like, oh, doy.
Oh my gosh.
So we exhausted ourselves swimming back and forth needlessly. I guess it was good exercise, but so we have this habit sometimes of plunging ahead with a ton of confidence, but with no reason to be confident.
Yep.
And we end up doing stuff like that. So
I can relate. I can totally relate.
That was that situation. There was also a wedding happening on the beach, which was really pretty. I felt a little bit bad, sitting nearby and watching my swimsuit. but it was pretty.
That's
and
sweet.
Then we took the little shuttle they have to the adults beach. And this is where we were really, really stupid. So you can drop off and pick up your snorkel gear throughout the day. You can drop it off at one location, pick it up at another. So you don't have to carry it around. We carried it around all day. So we had this giant tube, we had the flippers and the mask, brought it with us on the shuttle, no one else is doing this. I don't see anyone else walking around with this stuff. And then, you get to the adults beach and you have to find a spot. And we're there a little bit later than we planned on being. So we have to walk kind of to the very end of where the chairs are, which is probably a quarter of a mile, holding all of this stuff, plus whatever gear we brought with us, your books and your glasses and all that. Yeah. Towels also, we had a bunch of towels we were carrying. We looked like pack mules. It was ridiculous.
That's funny.
We were so thirsty by the time we got to a chair. And later on, we realized oh, this didn't have to be nearly as complicated as we made it.
So that's really good advice, though, because a lot of people don't know this stuff. And this is one of the reasons I wanted to do the podcast, is so people can learn from other people's mistakes.
Right.
It's the best way to learn.
Yeah, don't do what I did.
Yeah.
You don't have to carry anything. This is Disney. This is Disney Cruises. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do.
Absolutely.
So that was my own fault. Next, we had lunch at Cookies. And it was good. It was good barbecue. There was a lot of variety. There was you got your hot dogs and your hamburgers, but you also had ribs and pulled pork and different stuff like that. And I've seen videos of people eating. It's good. It's all very fine. There's nothing super standout about this meal, but it's there and it's good. But I've seen that the cookies get really good reviews, and I've seen video of them and pictures of them. It just looks like a Subway cookie. It looks like a regular store-bought plain cookie. That's nothing special. But I tried one anyways, and I'm glad that I did, because it was really good. Looks can be deceiving. And it was warm, and it was chocolatey, and it's all the things that you want a cookie to be, but it has a very humble appearance.
That's good to know.
And we spent the rest of the day just kind of lounging and reading and jumping in the water when we got too hot.
That's so nice. So what was the weather like?
Oh, it was... So at Castaway, there was still some remnants of a hurricane that had passed by. So the water was a little cloudier than I think it would normally be. We were told that. There was a little bit more seaweed at kind of out places, but it was warm. It was very warm. It's 90 degrees maybe. So it made the water feel really refreshing.
Oh, yeah. That's really nice. I had a friend who went on a Disney cruise in March, and it was just too cold to swim. And I'm like, that's such a bummer. So that is not one nice thing about going when it's warm is you'll be able to swim.
Yes, and this was also the 11th to the 15th of September was also the lowest price we could find for the Wish. So that was like, we compared like every week of the year, and that was the one that had the best price. I don't know why. I think it's probably because it's maybe hurricane season.
Yeah, it's kind of like the peak, I think, of hurricane season.
So we knew we were taking a risk, but like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
we'll roll the dice and see what happens, and it worked out for us great.
Yeah, there you go. And this is why I always tell people just get travel insurance and you don't have to worry about it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So going back on the ship was a much smoother process than getting all the way to the island, because by this time we learned we don't have to carry all this stuff all the way back.
Yeah.
So we were able to drop it off where it went. Oh, another thing, there's bathrooms everywhere.
Oh, that's nice.
Like every few steps, there's like a nice clean bathroom.
That's so
And
important.
other private island bathrooms are kind of gross and kind of cramped and far away from each other and not clearly marked. This was not the case.
That's fantastic.
Castaway. Yeah, that was great. So we took the shuttle back to the family beach, walked the rest of the way, got back on, which again is a very easy process because you just scan your card and they let you in. And we went to our room and we turned on the TV. And I didn't know this until like we started playing with it, but there's a library of movies that you can watch loaded onto the TV.
Fun.
Yeah, so it's like maybe like a mini version of Disney Plus. So there was like new movies, there was old movies, there's live action movies, cartoons, everything. So we watched The Emperor's New Groove while we got ready.
Oh, I love that movie.
It was great. It was great fun. And we had reservations at Palo.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah. So we got ready to go to Palo. We went and got our drink first from the lounge. Palo is gorgeous. You walk there through the Rose Lounge. And on one side of the lounge, there's Enchanté. The other side is Palo. It's gorgeous. So we went into Palo. We got seated right by. I think all of the tables are window seating, and we were able to watch the sunset.
Oh, so nice.
And it was so good. We ordered the like A5 Wagyu steak, and I've never had. It wasn't a fillet. I usually order fillets because I don't like a lot of fat, but I don't remember what cut it was, but it was one that has like quite a bit of fat marbled into it. And I was like, well, okay, when in Rome, we'll try this.
Yeah.
It was so good. We've all heard the term like melt in your mouth. This actually did melt in my mouth. Meat. I've never had meat melt in my mouth before.
That sounds so good.
It was delicious. You can order either like a prefix menu, which is like a set price. You get like you get your entree, appetizer, dessert, or you can do a la carte. So we decided to do a la carte. And we ordered like some extras. We ordered like asparagus. We ordered a pasta. Everything was fantastic. They also have a huge wine collection. So we ordered a Tempranillo from them, and it was great. I love Tempranillo. It went really, really well with what we were drinking, or what we were eating. It was a fabulous experience. It was long though. It took probably about 2 hours.
Oh wow, that is wow.
Yeah, it was a longer experience, and it was expensive, but it was worth it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I've heard if you go on a ship, you have to eat there.
Yeah.
That's
I would agree with that. And it's so pretty in there too. It's very like, it's themed for Cogsworth because the other restaurant is Enchanté, which is themed for Lumiere. So there's lots of like cool, like little metallic details, stuff that looks almost steampunk, but more refined than that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lots of like shiny wood and leather. It's very pretty.
That's awesome. So what was after dinner?
After dinner, we went to Nightingale's, and I tried the little bird drink. I think it's called the Sweet Nightingale. It was very sweet, and I'm not a huge sweet drink person. If you're a sweet drink person, like definitely get it. But it was really quick. We just nipped in and out of there. Very pretty at night. It's very like moody. There's lots of lighting. But right after that was pirate party.
Oh, yeah, the pirate party.
So we added a few things to our outfits that we were already wearing and went out for the pirate party. It was so much fun. It starts as like Red, the pirate from Pirates from like the ride. She is singing, and it's like rock music. And there's live musicians, there's dancers, there's lights and the ribbon cannon things and all kinds of cool stuff, playing really good songs that we all know.
Mm-hmm.
And it all kind of climaxes with, she calls up all the famous captains to join her on stage. And so like Captain Hook goes up there and Jack Sparrow rappels from the smokestack
down
to them. And then there's this whole big eruption of fireworks at sea, which was amazing. It was such a fun show. It was so fun. I feel like that's like a stupid thing to say. I keep saying it, but it was really, really delightful. I think that whole thing lasted about a half an hour. And then there's a dance party that immediately follows where they play like top 40 kind of music.
Uh-huh.
And that was a blast too. There's cast members, ship crew walking around and like keeping the party going, and it was absolutely so much fun, and it was so wholesome. It was kind of like, how like clubs are kind of gross and scary.
Yes,
but the dancing and the music is good.
Yeah,
it was like the dancing and the music was good and fun. Nothing gross was happening, and it was like in the most wholesome place you could possibly be. Like there were kids that were dancing with their parents, there was couples, there were singles, and it was all just very fun and wholesome, and you're able to like just let go and dance your heart out.
Yeah, I love that.
In a responsible way.
That's so fun, and I like the music choice. Like so, like all ages can enjoy it. It's really great.
Yeah, it was absolutely wonderful, and I was so sweaty.
Yeah,
I had like my hair was like dripping at the end of it, but it was absolutely a blast. I would go back just for the pirate party.
That's so good to know. I've always wondered if the pirate parties were fun or if they were like worth even going to. So that is definitely good to know.
I would say 100%. That was one of the absolute highlights.
Oh, that's awesome. How fun. So what'd y'all do after the pirate party?
After that was a shower and going to bed. I think it was like midnight, close to midnight when the whole thing wrapped up. And there was more to do. Like we could have gone to, they have like a silent dance party where you have like the headphones and stuff. They also had karaoke going on. But I didn't want to stay up until, all hours of the night. I could have, but that wasn't what we were like really doing on this trip.
Yeah.
So we were up late, obviously. Slept in the next day, kind of hung out on the veranda, enjoyed that, enjoyed like the breeze and everything. Had breakfast in the lounge again. That was really nice. We read on the deck in the shade again, like on the comfy couches.
Yes.
It was particularly hot and steamy that day. And there was a cast member that came by with like the chilled towels again to give them to people. That was really, really lovely. There was something kind of unusual that happened though. We had to divert from our regular course because there was a medical emergency. So we had to stop in Fort Lauderdale and then go to Miami. Or not Miami, but Orlando.
Huh, interesting.
Yeah. So that was kind of convenient, honestly. Like, I'm not convenient for the person who had to leave.
Right.
But it was nice because you could get cell service while you were in port.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. So there was a moment of like being able to catch up with people and, talk to my husband and stuff like that. So that was, I don't know. I didn't hate it.
So how long were y'all there?
Oh, it was only for like a couple hours.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it was only a couple hours and then we were back out at sea again.
So did this make y'all later to Port Canaveral?
Because we were pulling into Port Canaveral the next morning.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So this was like our day at sea.
Yeah.
Except we stopped in Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah.
There was a DVC event that day too, and we're DVC members, so we got to go to that. It was cute. It was a little show. You get like a little backpack full of little things like pop sockets and stuff like that. There was a drink there. There was a little game show kind of thing. I don't think I need to go to it again. But it was fun to do it this one time.
Yeah.
There was definitely like a soft plug to buy more points.
Yeah. They gotta do that.
Gotta do it. It wasn't pushy though. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't like gross, like it wasn't like a car salesman type situation. And honestly, if I go again, I might come prepared to buy more points because it was a pretty good deal. That they were offering. Good to know. Yeah. And that evening, we went to Arundel's, stopped at the lounge and, brought our drink with us. Arundel's was lovely. I am so glad that we ended on Arundel. The food was fine. It's Danish, so it's, it's Danish.
Yeah.
There's not like a ton of variety. The best thing on the menu is this like meatball pasta thing. That was really good. Again, we were seated right next to the stage, like right next to it. They were like right there. The performers.
Really nice, yeah.
So that was really, really fun and magical. And the storyline is that it's Queen Anna and Kristoff's engagement party, and you're invited to their engagement party, and they come around and talk to you and say hello and do their greetings, and the whole show is very cute. It starts, the way that it does with your main characters. You've got Elsa and Anna and Kristoff and Olaf. And then in between, there's like a folk singer and musicians. And then, the main characters come back and do another little number. And then the same thing. And then it all ends with, and it's hosted by Oaken.
Oh, that's cute.
So Oaken now runs like a party planning business.
Nice.
And so it ends with Oaken and Kristoff doing like a heartfelt rendition of Let It Go.
Oh my god.
With each other. It was so funny. Also, all the wait staff was like really into it too. Like everyone's like dancing and jumping, and this is the one where you like wave your napkin around and stuff. Like this was that dinner. It was so much fun. It was so much fun. Like this one is definitely not to be missed. If you're gonna skip any of your rotational dining, I would say skip World of Marble. The entertainment is just fabulous at this meal, and it's really pretty because you're like you walk down this hallway and you're in the castle.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You walk past these like coats of armor, and there's like all the detail on the walls, and the doors are just like they are in the movie, and very pretty.
That's wonderful. So what was after dinner?
So
what did y'all get to eat there real quick?
Oh yes. So I had this meatball pasta thing. That was good. My mom ordered the pork chop, but it was like she wasn't a fan. It was dry. I had the scallops. The scallops were the appetizer. They were really good. It came out like I was expecting like a plate with like some scallops on it, but it came in a bowl with like a souffle top.
Oh, interesting.
So there's this like buttery crust on the top, and scallops on the inside with all of this sauce. So that was delicious.
Oh, that sounds good.
And again, this is what our server recommended, so that's what I got, and I'm glad I did.
That sounds so good. So could you order more than one appetizer if you wanted?
Of course.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's fun.
And of course, you get like bread with every meal, and you can get more bread if you want. And there's also like a specialty butter with every type of bread. There's a regular butter, and then there's like some kind of compound butter that's been made specially for that bread.
Oh my gosh, I'm getting so hungry just listening to this, and it's like almost lunchtime. I'm like, yep. I want some special butter. That sounds great.
Yeah, it was super, super good, super fun. Again, like, there's not a ton of variety on this menu.
Mm-hmm.
And I think overall, like, the most of the dishes aren't anything you need to write home about.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely, like, take your server's recommendation, because my meal was great, but my mom didn't, and she was like, meh.
That's really good advice. Yeah. So if you just don't want to have to worry about not liking your food.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Absolutely. So after that, we went to the Rose Lounge, finally.
Yeah.
So we walked through it the night before to go to Palo. But we finally, like, sat down, got a table. It's so beautiful in there. It's kind of like the Enchanted Rose Lounge at Grand Floridian, but, like, darker and more moody, and, like, a little bit more romantic. There's, like, your classic bar seating. There's seatings with little, like, chairs and tables by the windows. And then there's, like, some couches, too. And it's very, like, castle-y. You feel like you're kind of creeping in. You're not supposed to be there, maybe. Except all the people are like, welcome in, But it has that vibe of, like, your bell and you're walking down the hallway and you're not supposed to be there.
I love it.
I ordered the rose drink, which is such a fun drink. It's a champagne cocktail, and it has like a tequila in it, and then another couple of other things, like I think elderflower, different things. The presentation, I mean, the drink is fabulous. I would definitely get it again. But the presentation is, like, such a big part of it, because it comes out on, like, a little tray with a cloche over it. Also, you get a rose. You get, like, an actual rose that they gave you. And there's smoke inside of the cloche. They take it off. The smoke wafts up. It smells like roses.
That's so
cool.
It
actually smells like roses. It's so good. And then the drink lives up to the hype. Like, it's not kind of like when you have this, like, fantastic presentation and you eat the thing or drink the thing and it's like, well, wah.
Yeah.
It was the opposite of that. It was great. Like, it matched the show, I would say.
That's awesome. Very fun.
Yeah. Excellent. And also, again, the servers are all fantastic and attentive and helpful, but not so attentive that you're, like, annoyed.
Yeah, you're like, now you can leave.
And after that, we went to the Aladdin show. The Aladdin show, I suddenly understood what people were saying when they said they didn't care for the Little Mermaid show.
Uh-huh.
I still liked it. I still do like it. I still very much enjoyed it. But Aladdin just, like, kung fu kicked the other two shows. It was so good.
That's a great analogy. So I'm going to have to use that sometime. That was fantastic, because I totally know what you mean.
Yeah. And it was... Have you ever seen the Aladdin show that played at the Hyperion Theater in California Adventure?
No.
Okay, so that was a very fun show that ran for a long time. It was very well beloved. I would say that this was better.
Nice.
And it's funny because it's like a smaller stage, smaller auditorium. Somehow the effects were better. There was indoor fireworks, which I was not expecting at all. And it's Aladdin, so the show is kind of always updated. The jokes are always relevant. So that was a great time. The genie was perfect. Just perfect. Aladdin was perfect. Jafar was perfect. Jafar stayed in character even when they were taking their final bow.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I love that.
He refused to bow. It was great. It was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. I would go see that every day of my life, probably, if I could.
That is so good to know. So do you get to pick when you go see the shows, or are they just on certain nights?
They're on certain nights.
Okay. So then it's probably good Aladdin's the last one if it's the best one.
Yeah. Like, I was like, it can't get better than this, right? After seeing Little Mermaid, I was so impressed. And then it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very, very fun. And then, like, the set is moving constantly, especially when Aladdin is, like, running away from the guards, right? In the marketplace. Like, the set's moving and they're moving and everyone's moving and it's all just, there's spokes being cracked and stuff is flying. It was great.
That's great. That's fun.
So I was pretty blown away by that show. And then after that, we went to Nightingales. And Nightingale's is amazing. Like, I would say that was probably my favorite bar. Because it was very pretty, it's intimate, but there's like a piano player in there all the time.
That's nice.
And sometimes he was playing like classic rock, but on the piano. Sometimes it was Disney too. Sometimes it was like movie scores. It was just different things, different piano players. It was lovely. We stayed there. Me and my mom were like, "Oh, we'll share a drink, and then we'll be done." Well, we didn't. We shared like 3 drinks total. Like, we kept like, let's have one more. It was wonderful.
That's so fun.
And they like to utilize glitter in the drinks at Nightingale's. So, like, it was so sparkly and pretty. And it doesn't add anything flavor-wise. It's not sugar, you know? So that was really fun. I ordered some drink glitter when I got home. So that
is fun.
Yeah, it was super, super fun. And we just liked hanging out there. We heard that from a lot of the other guests, too, that was their favorite bar. And it's like, it's more relaxed than the Rose. The Rose is very like, you know, you got to sit up straight. You're in this castle. But Nightingale's is like more cozy, you know?
Yeah. And just having the piano, like piano music is so relaxing.
And the sound was just right. It wasn't so loud that you can't talk to each other, but it wasn't so soft that you can't hear it.
Yeah. Sounds great.
Yeah, the balance was good. So we hung out there for quite a while, chatted, reminisced about how great our trip was, congratulated ourselves for planning it so well.
That's great.
And when we came out, it was midnight, so Nightingale's is right within the Grand Hall. It was midnight, and we were there just in time for the midnight kiss. And all of the people are laying down on the ground who were there wanting to see it, looking up at the ceiling. So we laid down on the ground too. And there's this really lovely little show that happens on the ceiling. The chandelier lights up, and some sound bites and music from Cinderella plays, and there's all this lighting that comes kind of out of nowhere and kind of dances along on the ceiling. It's quite lovely. That was where I teared up.
Yeah.
That was my like tearing up moment. Like, this is so magical. I love it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
fun.
Gorgeous. It was the perfect way to like top the trip off.
Yeah.
Because we were leaving the next morning.
That just sounds amazing. And like your whole itinerary was like perfect.
Thank you.
Everything flowed so great. I loved it.
It really did. It really helps putting in the time, doing the research, watching reviews, reading reviews, seeing like what your taste is, and then matching that with the experiences that you would like the most.
Yeah.
Because that's going to look different for everybody.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I was absolutely thrilled with it.
That's so fun. So what is it called? Disembarkation?
Yes.
What was that like?
So that was not too bad. This is where it fell just like the tiniest bit flat for me. The night before, if you put your luggage out with the tag on it, it's collected and taken away for you. So we were just left with like an overnight bag that we could carry easily. And in the morning, we went to the Concierge Lounge, had some breakfast, and then they were going to walk us off. But I think something was going a little bit wrong. I think one of the elevators might have been down or something. So it was taking a much longer time. And we'd be waiting in the hallway for quite a while. Then we'd get to an elevator, wait there for quite a while, go down to the Grand Hall, wait there for quite a while. But I can't imagine what it was like for everybody else.
Yeah.
I've been on other cruises where it's just like hours, you're there for hours, it feels like, and you're hemmed in, and that's just not fun. So this wasn't like that. It was definitely an elevated experience to what I've had before. But chatting in line with some people, they were just like, something's weird. They're not doing it right.
Yeah.
They were experienced cruisers, and they'd said that, because they call you get a luggage tag color, and it's by your room. Like by what your room is, what deck, different things. And then you disembark based on what color they call.
Okay.
So like yellow tags can leave, or purple tags, it's your turn. So strangely, like all of the tags got called at the same time.
Oh gosh.
And I think that may have been an accident. So that kind of just like held up the process. It wasn't terrible. I think it took probably a whole, maybe about 40 minutes to get off.
Mm-hmm.
But I was chatting in line with someone, and she's like, "Oh yeah, like I Disney cruise all the time. I've never seen this happen before." I think she said that the Wish has the highest number of concierge rooms to all the other ships. I think there's like 40.
Mm-hmm.
And she was saying on the Magic or something, there's like 4. So you really are just like, you know, you just get to leave like so quickly and so easily because there's nobody else there. But once we got through that, we were able to like really easily locate our luggage, and we got off. Again, it's easy to find your way around. There's people directing you, like, outside is this way, luggage is this way, this color tag is found over here, you know, all that. And they'll take your stuff for you if you want, which is also nice.
Yeah.
And then we had a private car come pick us up from the port.
That sounds so great. Like such a magical cruise.
It was magical.
I'm
dying a little bit because I want to go again so badly.
Yeah. Seriously, it'd be so hard to leave that and be like, now back to regular life. But at least you got to go to Disney World afterwards. That was nice.
That was the only like saving grace. Was like, okay, we're not going home.
Yeah.
We're going to Disney World. Some of the people that we've met were actually doing a back-to-back. So they were getting off and then getting right back on again.
I've heard that with the Wish because there's such short sailings that people just do back-to-back ones to make it a longer cruise.
I would do that next time. Mm-hmm. I 100% would do that next time.
Yeah. Because it really is. And there's some that are only 3-night sailings, and that is so short. But I mean,
it is so short, and there's so much to do.
Yeah.
There was like stuff that I wanted to do but didn't get to.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wanted to go to like the trivia. Never did that. Never made it there. Part of it, I mean, I had plenty of time to lounge on the deck, but I wanted to lounge on the deck, you know? Yeah. There wasn't quite enough time to like do all of the nothing that I wanted to do and do all of the stuff at the same
Absolutely. I understand that. Yes, for sure. So looking back on your cruise, what was your least magical moment?
Least magical moment was when I stupidly was carrying around all the stuff I didn't have to on Castaway. That was my own fault. Because I'm carrying all this stuff. I don't have enough hands. Stuff is falling. I'm sweaty.
Stressed out, probably.
A little bit stressed out. A little bit irritated.
Yeah.
A little bit cranky at that moment. So that was the least magical thing, and that was my own fault.
Mm-hmm. What was your most magical moment?
Most magical was the midnight kiss.
Yeah, that sounds special.
Because it was, not only was it fun, but it was like emotional.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of, you know, I'm someone who like cries at fireworks and stuff.
Yeah.
So this was like that moment for me. This was the moment where it really like got to my heart.
Yeah, that's sweet. I love it. So when is your next Disney trip? Do you have another one planned, or are you just waiting?
I have 2 planned.
Ooh, exciting.
We're going back to Disney World in January. And this is my whole family. So my mom and dad and my sister and my husband.
Nice.
It's my parents' anniversary. So we're going to be there for 2 weeks.
How fun.
And then we're going to Disneyland, all of us, in May for mine and my husband's anniversary.
That sounds great.
And we'll be there for May the 4th. So
that's fun.
We're planning on getting tickets to the Star Wars party when they release. So that'll be fun too. That'll be a first.
Absolutely. I might have to have you back on the show to talk about that. I've never had a guest. Yeah, that's for sure fun. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. I loved hearing about your cruise on the Wish. I want to go book my own cruise now.
Do it.
Thank you for listening today. I really appreciate you spending your time over here with us, and I hope this was just what you needed to hear today. I'm always looking for new guests for the podcast, so if you are traveling to any Disney park or cruise, see the show notes for more information about being on the show. Visit the show all around the web at DisneyTravelTales.com or find us on Instagram and Facebook at Disney Travel Tales. See pictures from the guests on their vacations, plus this is just a great way to stay up to date with all things related to the podcast and Disney travel in general. Join me next week with a brand new episode. So until then, this is Jenny, and may all your Disney travel dreams become a reality. Hi, this is Jenny, just popping on with some exciting news. I've started a Facebook group just for you. I'm really excited about this because not only will this be a great opportunity to get to know each other, but this is also a safe space to talk all things Disney. Members can share travel tips, resort tips, likes and dislikes, and the best part is this will give you an opportunity to talk to the guest on the show and ask them questions about their trips. I was trying to think of a fun name for us, and Disney Travel Tales Podcast Clubhouse came to mind. This is a private group, and of course, I will not allow anyone to be bullied or talked down to. I just want this space to be positive and fun. Check the show notes for a link to join, or just search Disney Travel Tales Podcast Clubhouse in Facebook. I can't wait to see you over there.